Hello, my name is Jennifer Britton, and I'm the founder of Potentials Realized and a certified business coach. As you may have heard in some of the other webinars, almost 70% of small and medium-sized businesses will change ownership in the next 10 years, but only a very small percentage of these businesses have a formal succession plan in place. Succession plans are critical for businesses at any stage of their business life cycle. This is especially true if you are nearing retirement or are planning to fund your retirement by selling your business. It is never too early to put a formal succession plan in place. This webinar series is being brought to you by the York South Simcoe Training and Adjustment Board. The board is a non-profit entity funded by Employment Ontario with a mandate to help maintain and facilitate the growth of the local labour market in York Region and South Simcoe. This series of webinars will focus on a team approach to planning a transition, covering such areas as preparing your transition plan, steps for determining the net worth of your business, and steps for moving the business from you, the present owner, to another while creating goodwill. The 4 webinars on the website exemplify the team approach. They are financial planning, determining the present owner's financial stability for the future in preparation for the succession of the business to another. Business valuation, determining the net worth of a business. Legal, some strategies for transitioning the ownership around negotiating price. And this webinar on business coaching, moving the business from the present owner, you, to another, separating the business from one person and thereby creating goodwill. This specific webinar will provide you with 8 different strategies to support you in your own succession planning process from the pre-transition phase onward. As you listen to the presentation, I hope that you will write down many of the questions that I will be asking. Do take time after watching this to reflect on these questions as you move forward in creating your own succession plan. The 8 strategies include, number 1, create a vision. Stephen Covey, in his book Everyday Greatness, writes, "Visions help us see the possibilities of tomorrow with the realities of today and motivate us to do what needs to be done." Creating a vision is all about developing a long-term picture of your life and your work. Visions are powerful pictures of what you want to create. When was the last time you spent time working on or revisiting your vision for your life and work? In order to plan for the future, it's really important to create a vision. In putting together your own vision, you may want to ask some of the following questions. What do you want your future to look like? For you? For your business? What do you want to be doing 5 years from now? 10 years from now? What, if any, involvement do you want to have with your current business? What is a legacy you personally want to leave for your business? And finally, what is possible in terms of the impact and legacy of the business itself? A great vision will provide clarity about your goals, your values, and your priorities, and it will energize you to reach or surpass your goals. It may be useful for you to initially undertake some vision work by yourself, and as it becomes more clear to you, to involve key stakeholders in your life. These may be your family, it may be key staff members, it may involve key suppliers or vendors. The feedback and comments of these people surrounding you will help you to expand your vision of what's possible for you and your business. Strategy number 2, set clear goals in relation to exiting your business. How, when, and at what price will you leave the business? A lot of this detail is covered more in the legal negotiating price webinar. A couple of other questions you want to ask are, what are the options for exiting your business? Would you transfer the business to a family member or an internal successor? Will you sell the business as is? Will you merge with a competitor? And what level of involvement do you want to have? What role do you want to play after exiting your business? Another question on a personal level to ask yourself is, what's next for you? What's next for me? How do I want to enjoy life after my business? The term third age is becoming very common these days, and people often spend the latter years of their life really enjoying the retirement. For many baby boomers, life after their business may involve serial entrepreneurism, volunteerism, consulting, a new career, or a new business. And finally, you may want to ask yourself, what do I need in order to make this happen? Consider the financial, technical, and other support required to make your goals come true. Strategy number 3, evaluate the business's tangible and intangible assets. In the third strategy, you will want to evaluate the tangible business assets, things like your real property. This is covered in more detail in the webinar dealing with business valuation. It's also very important in the succession planning process to evaluate your intangible assets. Things such as your brand, your reputation, and your human capital. Questions you will want to consider as you move through this part of the strategy include, what is the brand of your company? How strong is your team? What is the team and culture you've created? What makes your company unique? What gives it its competitive advantage? What is your market share? And what are the company's competencies? Finally, I'd encourage you to consider, are your employees a key asset of your business? During this stage, it may be also very useful to undertake a thorough SWOT analysis. During the SWOT analysis, you'll identify and explore the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats facing your business. Do this in the short, medium, and long term. And from this analysis, what do you notice? What new actions do you need to undertake in order to meet your goals and objectives? And what impact does this have on your succession planning process? We're going to move now into the core part of this presentation. Here are some key activities you'll want to consider as you put together your succession plan. Strategy number 4, focus on building systems. Systems include the policies, procedures, and checklists needed to manage a business effectively. Systems institutionalize knowledge and capture the history and story of your business. They facilitate transferability within an organization. In the event of ownership and/or management change, highly effective business systems will ensure a smooth transition. At this stage, you really want to ask yourself, how much of the business knowledge is walking around in your head? Here are some key strategies when creating systems for your own business. Systems should be well documented and understood to a third party coming in. Systems should support all aspects of the business management: financial, sales, human resources, and marketing. Systems may include the development of checklists as well as policies and procedures. And finally, systems should be user-friendly. Always ask yourself, does the system make sense and can it be understood by someone outside of the organization? If you're not sure, get someone else to look at it and give them their rating. Strategy number 5, focus on building capacity. It is very common for business owners to do everything themselves, falling into a false sense that I'm the only one who can do it. A very important part of successful succession planning entails separating yourself emotionally and technically from your business. Building the capacity within your team over time is critical to facilitate the sustainability and long-term success of your business. Succession plans are useful not only when you wish to retire, but in the event of sickness or even death. Succession means that your business will continue long after you pass it along to someone else. Keep in mind that your employees are part of your asset base and they will likely continue being employed within the business. As you start to consider building capacity within your team, ask yourself, what information needs to be institutionalized? What information do you carry around in your head? What skills do you need to share? What knowledge and history do you as owner need to share? And finally, what's the team's current skill profile? What is needed for future growth and during transition? Selecting a successor. Relationship management is integral when selecting and mentoring a successor. It's also a critical part of the capacity building process. Ideally, as a business owner, you will want to hand over the reins and give up control over time. If you are looking at an internal succession option, you will want to groom successors over time to be able to run your business without you. In selecting a successor, consider what kind of person will be best able to serve the company, meet the current and strategic visions, and hold the skills needed to move the business forward. Do not fall into the trap of trying to clone yourself. Part of the capacity building process involves the often difficult process of separating yourself both physically and emotionally from the business. If you're looking for an internal successor to take over your business, consider the following questions. How committed to the overall vision and success of the company is the candidate? What is their vision for taking it to the next level? Question number 2. What is the skill inventory of each candidate? Which skills and talents would they need to address in order to take over business ownership? Once selected, create a training and development plan to meet these needs. Question number 3. Does the candidate have the capacity for growth? Do they have the ability emotionally, cognitively, and socially to take over business ownership? And finally, does business ownership fit into the personal and professional vision of the individual? When selecting a successor, create measurable criteria based on the key factors you see in needing to run a successful business. Write these down and follow them. Follow your criteria and be as objective as possible with your assessment. After selecting your successor, ensure that there is sufficient time to train and immerse the successor in the business and your role. An important part of the transition process will involve you spending time introducing the new owner to key stakeholders. These may be customers, they may be vendors, or suppliers. And remember that building capacity is not just about building the human resource capacity of your business. It is also about those intangible goodwill growth considerations we explored earlier. These include things like your location, your brand name, your trade name, your credit rating, your reputation, your customers, and their patronage to the business. Spend time during the succession planning process to identify and address these goodwill growth considerations. Strategy number 6. Relationship management is a key. Strong relationships are key to business success. This is just as important in the succession planning process as it was when you were building your business. As you will see in the legal webcast on negotiating price, it is critical to build win-win relationships where all parties benefit. So as you move through the succession planning process, here are some tips to consider, ways to create the win-win. Number 1, agree that everyone's working together to create what's best for the company, your staff, and your customers. Number 2, design alliances within your relationships. Ask yourself, what can you be counted on for? What do you need from them? How do you want to be treated? and how do you want to treat others? Number 3, clear, open, and ongoing communication between all parties is essential. Number 4, practice self-management. Succession planning can be an extremely emotional process. It will be important to manage your emotions as much as possible throughout the entire process. Emotional intelligence becomes often just as important as IQ. Be clear on what you want and what will satisfy you. What is the threshold at which you will be satisfied with the outcome? What are those criteria? And consider what's in it for me from all parties' perspectives and understand the other party values and interests. Clearly outline the different roles and responsibilities of the parties and clarify and manage the expectations of the different stakeholders. Wherever possible, create structured opportunities for discussion, problem identification, and problem solving. Make this a priority and follow through with meetings. Proactively manage conflict as it emerges. And finally, be innovative, flexible, and creative with your approach and solutions. The succession planning process will go much smoother, regardless of whether it's an internal succession or an external sale, when all parties exhibit strong relationship management skills. The process will be easier, and you may even get a better asking price if you and your buyer are committed to creating win-win relationships. Keep in mind that good business relationships are win-win in nature. Wherever possible, create and leverage these. Strategy 7. Revisit your plans on a regular basis. As you move further into the succession planning and implementation process, revisit your plans on a regular basis. Depending on when you hope to hand over your business, this review may happen on a quarterly, monthly, or even weekly basis. As you review your plans, ask yourself, how is reality shaping up with my plan? What is happening in my industry? What's happening in the marketplace and in the larger economy? Also, what's happening with the stakeholders who are impacting this process? Answers to all of these questions will continue to inform your plan as well as impact your timeframes, communication strategies, and action steps. And finally, strategy number 8, build a support team around you. As you heard in the financial planning webinar, start gathering your team in the pre-transition phase. Leaving your business constitutes a major life transition. Create a personal and professional support system around you. This may also include some impartial business advisors. Impartial business advisors can provide you with the technical skills you may need. They may include a business valuator, a business coach, a financial advisor, an accountant, or a lawyer. Access these specialized services as needed. These professionals can provide you with specific technical know-how along the way. Just as important is building a personal and professional support system around you. Friends, family, and even professional peers can help support you through the transition into the next phase of your life. I recommend that you take a few minutes to watch the rest of the webinars and do the small quiz accompanying the webinars on the website. You'll gain some more insight into some of the various aspects of succession planning, including financial planning, business valuation, or how to negotiate pricing of your business for sale. I hope that you found the information provided in this webinar useful as you move forward in creating your own succession plan. With a plan in place, a clear vision, and a support network, your succession plan can open up new realms of possibilities for you. If you have any questions related to this webinar or would like to explore how coaching could support you, your team, or your business, I'd invite you to contact me directly.